Well, hey everybody, and welcome back. I'm Fox with Foxeo Plays. You're you, and you're watching me. Watching you. I'm just kidding. I'm not watching you, but I'm about to be watching this boss whose name I can't remember because we've died to him several times now. Well, we haven't actually. I don't think we've actually died all that many times. We've bailed out through the glorious use of some homeward bones. Very, very honorable and valorous? Valor? I don't think there's a word for that, for valor. I don't think valor has that form. Like courageous, courage and courageous, valor and valorous, valorious, I don't know. I don't think that exists. If it does, let me know in the comments section below. Has nothing to do with video games, but hey, who cares? Okay, I call BS on that one. Come on now. That was, oh, there we go. Uh-oh. Yep. I knew something like that was gonna happen. Run! Is that a friendly? It is. Oh, I couldn't get it in time. I tried. Oh, the problem I'm going to run into is he can reach me much easier than I can reach him. Oh, you're going to come up here, huh? I just got to be very careful because he can hit me. This is their rubber band point. There's literally basically the programming equivalent of an invisible wall right there as far as they're concerned. You know, like players will oftentimes encounter invisible walls in games. Even though you can't see it, it's a point at which you cannot cross. That's what it is for them. I think I actually got him before he put his shield up, even though visually it showed his shield was already up. This is actually a good shield, I believe, for for physical, hang on. Yeah, for magic, fire. Magic and fire is very good. 67, 89. Lightning, 43 is not so great. Dark is 53, so at least it blocks about half for each of those. Oh, shoot. That was my bad. Look at that damage he does. What a punk. I'm getting careless. I'm getting careless. I should be two-handing, but I'm just one-handing it right now because if I'm not mistaken, since there's no strength scaling on that, isn't it useless to two-hand it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something here. Jeez, you know what? I'm just gonna reload this whole. Oh, got the lock on. Oh, come on now. Come on now, game. Oh, I got really close to falling off the ledge there. And backstab for you, my friend. And you get a charged attack. Have a good one. Thank you, and good night. Actually, you know what? Ah, shoot, let me hit this real fast. Go, back. I want to get these, I want to get friendly summon, at least one. Jon Snow. Jon Snow, welcome, Jon Snow, to FoxeoGames. Foxeo Plays, sorry. This is the Floxeo. This is the Floxeo Pays channel. Floxeo Pays. Foxeo Plays. Alright, we're gonna knock this out, guys. So what I'm gonna do is record a whole bunch of these episodes all in a row and release them one after another, day after day. One per day. And get this playthrough knocked out. We're gonna knock out the Temple Knight playthrough and see if we're gonna stick with our faith arrangement, which I hope we do. If not, oh well. This one, we're not going to go all pyro like I planned because it's just not turning out the way I wanted it to. The pyro doesn't appear to be all that useful or effective, unfortunately. Alright, it's time for this guy. Yes! Alright. Oh, that does not do as much damage as I thought it would. Although I think, does it have lightning on it? No, maybe not. I think I switched my weapon to lightning. That's it. Never mind. Never mind now, because it does actually have scaling off strength. Okay, so that. Okay, so I'm seeing something here. Switching from fire to lightning actually has a big advantage of giving me scaling back on strength. Also scaling on faith, so that's useful for increasing damage. But the scaling on the strength makes it so that two-handing it has a benefit. Oh, shoot. He fell again. What a punk. Anyone drop any goods for me? Any items? Oh, you cheapskates. Let's see if he does the circle dance. Okay, let's go in. Yep, he did the circle dance. He knows how it works. What's he gonna do? Great combustion! Woo, boy. Woo! Fun times. Uh-oh. Here we go. How did Jon Snow not get hit by it? That's what I want to know. He was standing right in it. Okay, don't get behind the pillar because I can't see when he shoots. Uh-oh. Here we go, here we go. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh yeah, there we go. It looks like as long as you can roll and move, you can get away from that. You don't even need to run, so that's good. Oh, come on. He's doing that too many times in a row. We barely have a chance to hit him. These kind of enemies can be extremely frustrating. There were a couple of these, the enemies that like disappear in the game Odin Sphere Irithyll. And it's always a frustration when you've got an enemy that does something like that where they constantly like disappear on you so you can't keep hitting them the way you want to. Uh-oh, shoot, I'm out, I'm out. Uh-oh. Oh, I tried to dodge, but I was in the middle of drinking. Oh, I got hit by it, darn it. I got plenty of Estus, so... Jeez! That is such garbage. I'm sorry, but that is such garbage. Just so many cheap tactics in this game. That's why when I find a cheap tactic, I use it. Against enemies. Yeah, that doesn't seem to consistently hit when he does that ability that goes around him, the little purple haze or smoke or fog. It doesn't always seem to hit me the same way. Like sometimes I'm standing right in it and it doesn't seem to affect me. Sometimes I'm on the edge of it and it does seem to affect me. Oh, jeez. Yeah, like right there. Come on. How was I not right in the middle of it? I swear I was right in the middle of it. Uh-oh. I need to stay alive. Is it coming? It's coming for me, so... There we go. I'm gonna drink just because I got plenty of Estus left. And done. I'll give my thank you bow. And we're off. Sweet. Sweet deal. Wait, what's the new phrase all the kids say? Oh snap. But I don't think I'm using it correctly. Alright, let's go back and level up on Floxio Pays. That's the name of my channel with the L in the wrong spot. Alright. The other day I couldn't say sniper rifle. I said sniper rifle. What is it with me and switching up L's? Okay, level up. What are we gonna do? Okay, faith will give us 2, then 2. Okay, so it'll give us, excuse me, 2 points of extra damage each on that weapon. What about strength? It takes 2 points of strength to get 1. Same with dex, because those are very low scaling. I do feel like I want more stamina, which is endurance. But I like to do more damage, so let's put it into faith. How about that? Alright, so where we're at now, we've just killed Aldrich. I think our next boss is going to be Yorm the Giant, I think. Wait, hang on. How much more do I need to level? 20. Oh, come on now. That's less than 2,000. I'm going to take that. Oh, wait, hang on, hang on. Let me see if I can do anything with Aldrich's soul, and if not, I'll just pop that soul. Oh, okay. I thought I was going to fall off the edge. Henri Straight Sword. I didn't expect to get that, actually. Huh. Interesting. Did I get that last time? Steal HP of foes using an illusory scythe. Oh, you know what? I used to think that... Hang on. I used to think that was an actual weapon. I never looked at that closely enough to realize it's actually a miracle. Very interesting. I'm impressed. Dark Moon Longbow. That makes sense since he shoots arrows. Soul of Aldrich. Yeah, whatever. We're gonna pop that soul for souls. Soul for souls. Let's do it. Pontiff Sylvan. Nothing for him either. I'm not even sure what sword we have right now. Let me take a look at it when I'm done here. You can hear this clicking from my controller, I'm sure. I told you guys in the last episode, one day somebody was freaking out over hearing that clicking noise. They were like, are you playing with a dog clicker? What's that? Man, they were so angry in the comment section. It's interesting, though, that someone gets that angry over a noise in a video that they chose to watch that was produced and made available to them for no charge to them. Let's see here. I mean, I've been riled up by a few videos, but usually it's videos where the intent is to rile people up or expressing judgment over, you know, something you do or like or whatnot. Okay, so we got one more level. Actually, we're gonna grab 2 because we're just about at the 2 point there. So let's pop another soul here. Oh, dang it, that gave me way more than I wanted. All right, well, let's hope maybe we can upgrade something. I didn't want that much more. Yeah, now we got 8,000 left over. I was hoping to have less than that. I don't like to carry around souls unnecessarily. Wrong way. We're not really going to worry too much more about the pyro path, guys, just because it's not really panning out. I mean, it's just not worth it. And the Estus Flask are more valuable to me as healing than they are as restoring my focus, which is essentially mana. If you hear a barking dog in the background, that's because there's a barking dog in the background. Anything here for me? Nothing? Boosts damage absorption when HP is full. That only boosts damage absorption once then. The first time you get hit, because once you get hit, your damage, your health goes down and it's no longer full. Which I guess it's fine, whatever. I was hoping she would have... Oh, let me see if I need any large Titanite shards, because I can now buy them. Which is nice. Is it as nice as rice? Maybe. But, maybe not. Let's see here. Lightning Astora Sword. I think I'll keep that for now. What else have I been upgrading? I've not been upgrading the longbow. I think I've been using the longbow on the other playthrough. See, that's the problem with doing multiple playthroughs at once. I love how you can upgrade the torch. That is so ridiculous. We're not even close to upgrading the Dragon Crest shield. Okay, so it does not appear that we need to worry about anything else at the moment. However, we can take a look at Henri's Straight Sword. It already has Faith scaling, but it's E. It's E scaling in all of them. This weapon has better scaling in Strength and Faith. So yeah, it doesn't seem like any reason I should pick that up. And I would be using Twinkling on both that and my shield. See, I like the shield for its benefits, but also because it takes Twinkling. So therefore, I can preserve, or I can reserve my straight Titanite shards and chunks and all that for the sword, and then Twinkling can go towards this. Because normally in a playthrough, if you're using all Twinkling weapons and armor, or weapons and shields or whatnot, then you run out really quickly and you need more. But if you're using shards, the shard path for one thing and the Twinkling for the other, then you can make use of all the stuff that you're getting over time. That's just one thing I've noticed. I wish there was something I could spend this 8,300 on. Yeah, let's see here. Temporarily boost all resistances. Hey, that's not bad. You don't even have to know what you're resisting. Okay. On to Bone Shard. Let's travel to Aldrich, Devourer of Gods. Today's drink of choice is ice water. Well, I like to call it lemon ice water. It's basically regular ice water with a little bit of lemon, like a teaspoon of lemon juice in it. And what that does is it gives it this added little zing, so that it's a lot more interesting for your taste buds than just plain water is. Okay. It's interesting to go in here knowing what it was. For those that haven't played the original Dark Souls, or at least haven't watched playthroughs and whatnot of it, they wouldn't know what this was about. But it's something. That's for sure. Interesting that they even have the pillow that she was reclining on right there. Let me check this way, see if there's anything over here. I don't believe that there is, but you can always look. It usually doesn't hurt. Interesting, if you look at the shears right there, they don't look like they're supposed to at all. I mean, it looks like those little like shears, they're supposed to be like tapestries or sheer tapestries or whatnot, but the way they've rendered them here, they look ethereal, like ghosts. Is it supposed to be that way? I'm hoping that it's supposed to be that way, because if they tried to make these look like real see-through cloth, they did a terrible job. Well, not 100% sure where to go from here, but we'll figure it out. Let's get on the big platform. There we go. Is there a path back here? I don't think so. Take that. That statue is missing completely. It's not even broken. Right. I don't remember if I got something special there, so I'm gonna have to remember where to go now. I'm gonna look it up real quick because I don't want to wander around aimlessly. There's no point in doing that. Aimless wandering is not fun. Unless I got a really interesting topic to talk about. Which I don't. Although there were a few videos I released on my main channel. One of them was called Video Games and Political Agendas. I think that was the name of it. Video Games and Political Agendas. Although you could really say Video Games in Political Agendas. It was sort of the same concept right there. The idea behind that is, or what we talked about in there, was really that you have this recent trend, which I consider a very clear net negative for the video game industry, where there's this tendency to politicize video games and to politicize commentary of video games and to politicize reviews of video games, just basically to politicize the whole video game industry, politicize the development of video games, even politicize the development teams, to insist that, oh well, this team doesn't have enough of this group in it, or this representation of this minority or that, and that's always really unfortunate when you have nonsense like that gets brought into a field where you essentially have the real issue about it being about video games and what makes video games interesting and good gets overshadowed by the more contentious and controversial political agendas that get injected into it. Well, I was trying to use my old Nexus tablet to look it up, but not surprisingly it froze again, like it always does, because the latest Android software on the tablet is designed to make it as difficult as possible to use your older tablet so that you upgrade. Certain things I do on this tablet, it used to be super fast, but now I can click or I can tap on something and sometimes it'll take up to 30 seconds for the tablet to respond properly, depending on what it is. It's just sad that that happens. We know that Apple does that. They've never flat out confessed it, but Apple does set up their ecosystem in such a way where as they're updating their software, they do it in such a way where either they intentionally or make no effort not to slow down older devices. I have no idea where to go from here. It didn't really open up a path, did it? I thought it would have... Let me double check up here that I didn't miss something. Yeah, see, I clicked on something on this... Okay, there it goes. Well, hang on, hang on. It only took about 45 seconds for a tap on this tablet to respond. Hey, that's not bad, right? 45 seconds. It's really unresponsive. Okay. It says to go to Irithyll Dungeon next, according to this walkthrough. But what's interesting is... Well, let's try it. Let's try that. Oh, you used to be able to jump down from here. I wonder why they closed that off. See, little architectural differences or geographical differences like that do matter, because I've heard so many people bring those issues up of, well, wait a minute, Anor Londo was never like this. It's not just a new building that was built, or it's not just something that crumbled. It's completely modified geography to the point where they would have had to pretty much tear it all down and then build it back up. But then the question remains, why does it look old and decrepit if it was torn down and rebuilt? Shouldn't it look newer? So those issues do come up. It says here to start at the Distant Manor bonfire, to enter a large open area with a staircase leading down. Alright, well let's follow this and see where it leads us, shall we, guys? I do kind of want to focus on the primary mandatory areas of the game rather than go to optional areas, but we'll see how it works. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to move my tablet and prop it up so that I can look at it and fiddle with it without having to hold on to it. There we go. Cool beans. Okay. Yeah, when you're using your cell phone or your tablet, smartphone or tablet to... Yeah, look at that. To navigate the internet, that's when some of those obtrusive ads and whatnot, those automatically played videos, that's when they can become exceedingly frustrating, because they slow your system, your device down to an absolute crawl. Sometimes they'll freeze it up. They just do all sorts of terrible things to it. See how the tactic there is not to dodge and block or try to be really tactical in any way. The tactic there is to just spam with that, guys. So I don't see that as an improvement to the series in any way, shape, or form. But then again, you know, it's not like there weren't enemies like that in the previous games. There certainly were. That was a big thing in Dark Souls 2 as well. Less so in Dark Souls because of poise. So... Oh, wow, this guy. This guy, man. Ugh. I don't think you can backstab him. No, I don't think so, actually, buddy. Because I teleported to the end of his, It literally... Yeah, I don't think so. The fire was behind me, video game. You can see terrible, terrible hitboxes right there. Where I was standing, you actually saw my character teleport backward in order to get caught by the tip of that spear. Then as I was running back up that way, what you could clearly see is that the fire that hit me was actually burning behind me, and that's not the first time that's happened. That fire effect right there is incredibly inaccurate with the hitboxes, and it's easiest to notice this early on in the Wall of Lothric with the dragon that breathes fire, because that dragon's fire, when you walk up on that one platform, it'll hit you everywhere on the platform, even though fire only really covers about half the platform or so, and it'll start hitting you when you walk out of the arch of the doorway quite a ways before the image or the visual effect of the fire actually exists. Yeah, these are some of the most garbage enemies in the whole entire Souls series. Look at that. 7 attacks in a row. 7. So what are you supposed to do? You cannot block that. I mean, you'd have to have a great shield and excellent stability and stamina to block 7 of those attacks in a row and still have anything left over to you know, run or dodge or attack. Or let's say you want to dodge like I was, right? You will have to dodge accurately 7 times in a row and then have stamina left over to attack or get out of range. So let's watch. See my stamina bar? I think I have a reasonable amount of endurance for this. 22, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look, enough stamina for 1 more action, then I'm completely drained, at which point there will be a pause before my stamina begins to regenerate again. And notice, after he finished those 7 attacks, he started up a new series of attacks within what? I think it was less than 2 seconds? So you tell me if that seems reasonable. I think it's pretty clear that's completely unreasonable. Okay, what the heck? My controls became completely unresponsive right there. I had stamina left tapping the R1 button and nothing happened. So, I don't know. With my health the way it is, and with fairly decent armor, I die in 3 hits from him. You can see how this is just utter garbage design. Absolute trash design. Look at this. Just, geez, hits me before I can even get 1 attack off. 360-degree attacks, 2 additional enemies here, and trapped against the wall. Even though if you look right there, there was room for the physical space there between the enemy and the wall was more than sufficient for my character model to proceed through, to pass through, but yet it sort of formed an invisible barrier that I couldn't get through. So you can see why I have some significant issues with this game, and it's terrible, terrible design at certain points. Just garbage, absolute trash. And it's just so sad that it's like that, because it doesn't have to be. You just got to pull off the people who don't know how to make games, like Tanimura is probably the one responsible for that. There was a little tiny bit of that in Bloodborne, but not so much, and it didn't become as much of an issue because of Bloodborne's combat style. The fact that you could rebuild or regain your health by attacking as well. Stuff like that would make up for it. Not that it excuses the bad design, but it does mean that it's not as significant an issue. That attack right there was a queued up attack. I was hit just after pressing the R1 button. Jeez. Look at the response time you have for that. From the moment I saw him to when he started attacking was probably, I would say, what, three quarters of a second? And I can't do anything, just staggered. 3/4 of a second from the moment I saw him around the corner to when he hit me, I would say. Maybe a second, but I doubt it was even a second. You know, you think of a second, we always think of the old adage, not adage, but the old practice of going 1/1000. I don't feel like it was even that long before that trash enemy hit me. So this is why I've kind of put Dark Souls 3 down and don't really feel like returning to it after I finish these playthroughs. There's nothing really much to return to. Once you've completed it a couple times and then played a little tiny bit of PvP, it's mostly, you know, Dark Souls 2 all over again with a lot of improvements and, you know, modified controls so that the controls aren't floaty. But, you know, look at that. Can't even get 1 attack off. And then he can, of course, do the quick jump back, like most bosses in the game can do. Once you get the advantage on them, they have to have that quick jump back so that they can get away and then regain the advantage against you. So you have to just stagger them endlessly. That's really the only way to do it. Yep, see? Got away even in the midst of an attack, during the attack. So has some sort of poise-like ability there, or sometimes referred to as hyper armor. But the term hyper armor is an absolutely just, I don't know why that ever caught on, because it's not armor. Armor doesn't work that way in video games. Wow. It became unresponsive again after I got hit, and then after I got hit, it attempted to do the R1 that I'd previously input that didn't go through originally. So the input queuing is worse in this game than it's ever been. A lot of people have commented and asked me about that, and asked me if the input queuing is a problem, and yes, it's a bigger problem than ever before. People that didn't notice it as much definitely do now. All right, so let's avoid this garbage enemy design right there and see if we can just go around it, because it's an absolute waste of time and energy, and it just drags down the experience with garbage. So let's try see if we can do this. But I think there's enemies hiding in here, because that's a good idea, you know. All right, I don't think there's another enemy in here, is there? Let's see if we can, oh, okay. I don't know if you noticed right there, but for some reason, like, I couldn't swivel behind him. I sort of got caught up on some sort of invisible barrier. I think it's actually because he was about to move, and just before he moved, the game actually created the barrier to my movement before he actually got in the way. Of course, these fire-producing enemies are also complete garbage design. Yeah, like that. Nobody can tell me that was reasonable by any stretch of the imagination. I'm completely out of view. I've been out of view for about, what, 7 seconds? 5 to 7 seconds. And on my return, he hits me with a fire attack running along the ground that pierces through this giant solid wall. Nobody can defend that kind of garbage design. So, Dark Souls 3, everybody. It just becomes the kind of game where it's better to run through crap than constantly try to fight it, because it just is what it is, you know? Yeah. Where is he? Seriously? Did you see that? Look, where is this guy that hit me? There? He hit me with that fire ground attack from there. I can't even see him. Maybe that's the top of him right there. But you're going to tell me he hit me from there, and that's reasonable. I think not. Wait a minute, am I getting screen tearing? I am getting screen tearing. I don't know what is going on lately. It's probably Dark Souls 3. I don't know. That is so weird. I have a G-Sync monitor, and it should definitely not be screen tearing like that. I don't know why that keeps happening. I want to do a review of the G-Sync monitor eventually at some point. Very disappointed in G-Sync. Very disappointed. It constantly doesn't work. I constantly get screen tearing in games where G-Sync is enabled and supposed to be working. And what I found actually is if I just reboot the computer, that will often fix it. And there doesn't appear to be any rhyme or reason to it. I can't track it. I mean, I can't pinpoint any particular thing that's doing it. You know, I've tried getting rid of all my stay resident programs, changing things up quite a bit. I cannot find anything whatsoever that seems consistent. That noise right there is intended to scare you. And the first time I was playing it, it did indeed scare me. Also, because they make it exceptionally and unreasonably loud, which is really frustrating and annoying if you're wearing headphones when they play an extremely overly loud sound effect like that. That overpowers other sound effects. In Bloodborne, that was the case with the boars that you fought in the game and the crows. Both the boars and the crows were way too loud. Terrible audio imbalance on those two. Definite sound engineering issues right there. And that was actually something that Epic Namebro pointed out as well, thank goodness, because if he points it out, people tend not to be so judgmental and they believe it, whereas if I point it out, everyone's like, oh, you're just a hater, so because I don't like your opinion, then you must be wrong. Let me see, how do I get in there? I don't know, we'll figure it out. Or maybe not. We'll just push through. Of course, we go from Irithyll Dungeon, Irithyll, to these pieces of trash enemies that have one of the worst mechanics in a Souls game ever. I can't imagine a worse one. I think it probably is the absolute worst enemy effect or mechanic that I've ever seen in a Souls game. and probably ever will see in a Souls game, especially if they're not going to make any more Souls games. And look how many attacks they take. So the fact that you pretty much have to rush them down before the effect can, before the mechanic can start affecting you and draining your total health as well as your health. But the rush tactic doesn't... boring. Extremely boring. That's just not interesting. It didn't kill me. It's just lame. I even knew about it too. I just wasn't thinking. And here's this dude. Which, you know, FromSoft, I'm sorry, but there are so many things wrong with this game. It's impossible to ignore them. What were you thinking? I mean, we've always accepted the fact that being able to tack stuff through solid walls, in this case it's partially solid, but it still hits you through the solid wall right there. Being able to attack and get hit through solid walls is just sort of one of the byproducts of the game engine. And, you know, that's just the way it is. Look at the health on these things. It's just one of the things we have to deal with. That kind of collision detection to prevent the attack from taking place would cause other issues. Not to mention would use up a lot more processing power. So it's understandable that they wouldn't fix that issue, but just leave it in place. Oh my gosh. These less than 1 second timings of attacks. So literally, if you're already in an animation at the time they begin to telegraph theirs, it's too late. You'll get hit by it. That's when you know you've timed it improperly. There's just simply no way to reliably dodge it. And because he was against that wall, when I knocked him down from the backstab, he actually got up much faster than he was supposed to. But this guy right here is set here and will continue to hit you through that before you can even get to it to open it up. So they put this enemy here knowing full well that the entire encounter may very well go down through the wall, which is not an intended mechanic. So it's like the entire encounter could be built around, wow, this enemy is such garbage. I mean, look at the health on it. It doesn't get staggered. Pretty good reach. I guess it's my fault for opening the door. Even a charged up attack didn't stagger him. Oh, and one swipe he took at me right there passed through me physically, but did not actually cause any damage, which, you know, is a negative in terms of the game not doing what it's supposed to, breaking its own rules, but a positive in the sense that I didn't take damage. Although I'd rather the game just be more accurate than be inaccurate in a way that works in my favor. That's useless. Okay. We're coming close to the end of this. You know, whether playthrough episode is more positive or negative, obviously is going to depend on the content for that particular episode. When it's a bad area that's poorly designed, then obviously it's going to be far more negative encounter, versus if it's a good area, or if it's an area that's well designed. Hang on. Right. Right. Yes. Yeah, sure. I'll buy that for $1. Okay. All right. I wasn't at his back at all, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Excuse me. Got something in my throat. Again, there was inaccuracies in the game engine that actually worked to my advantage there. Now this area, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these really tough enemies that easily stagger you and cannot be fully staggered, to my knowledge. With that guy way back there in the corner, always looking straight in your direction. I mean, unless you come up from the other way, if you didn't get knocked down, I mean, what are you supposed to do at this point? That's my question for you. What are you supposed to do? Assuming you don't have ranged attacks. What is the intent here? What do the developers intend for you to do to defeat this encounter with a variety of different builds without taking any damage? Because if you're good enough, you shouldn't have to take damage, right? That's kind of one of the ideas behind the Souls games, that if you're good enough, you don't get hit. If you're good enough, you don't die. You know, it's not like a hack and slash like Diablo. You know, Diablo 3 was built around the premise that you're going to take a lot of damage. I mean, you can avoid some, but you can't avoid it all. So you got a lot of health. You know, you can get a whole bunch of health potions and all that jazz. But here it's not so much the case. Let's run it. Oh, okay, we made it. I don't always make it when I run it, but now the question becomes, is that the intent? Did they want you to just run through there and not fight them? If that is the intent, I think that's a really bad choice. I don't think you should ever make it the intent for players to run past an area and just skip all the enemies. I mean, I can see that being something you do occasionally, but to make it something that you're intended to do as a mechanic does seem kind of lame. Or putting two of them together, which you're just not going to be able to control for that. You're going to get hit by that ability, and it's going to drain your health all the way to virtually zero, including your max health, making you susceptible to a one-shot kill. So, yeah. About this game, what do? You don't? Here we go. Reduces frost buildup. You know, you get so little frost from so few enemies, and I don't really notice the frost doing a lot to me, so I don't see the point. Yeah, right. Okay. That's one of the other problems too in the game, especially if you have a bow or a crossbow build. You'll notice that when you try to hit stuff around corners and be tactical like that, you're going to run into a significant issue, and that issue is going to be that the collision is incredibly inaccurate, where arrows that you try to shoot around corners will actually get stuck in the middle of the air next to walls, because the actual collision detection of the wall and the arrow passing around or through it is not accurate. It's really, really inaccurate. I don't know, I guess we'll try this then. Okay, you seeing this, right? I'm not the only one seeing this, right? You're seeing this, right? I mean, look at that. I don't know, I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do with this. It's just an absolutely messy encounter, and look at that. 1, 2, 3 of those enemies are also thrown in there. It's hard enough with just the 2 of them, but you're gonna throw in 3 of those enemies? To complicate matters further, to stagger and stun the player as they get their health drained to near zero, so that guy can hit extremely hard and also has an AoE attack. I mean, just like in Dark Souls 2, we have, absurdity on top of absurdity on top of absurdity. And at this point, I have to say, I'm glad they're not making any more Dark Souls games, because they're out of ideas. If this is where the Souls series is going, it needs to stop. It's just going to keep getting, well, not keep getting worse, because Dark Souls 3 improved so many things over Dark Souls 2, but it's just going to degrade the overall experience, and it's just going to become a game where it's about torturous self-flagellation. I don't know, just the idea of just torturing yourself with unreasonably, stupidly difficult scenarios, with no guarantee whatsoever that there's any way to get through it reliably. At which point it produces little more than bragging rights for the people that manage to throw themselves at the wall enough times to finally break through it. Yeah, what are you supposed to do with this? Look at that. 3 of those guys end him, and he's constantly turning around. I just don't know how you're supposed to reliably get through that encounter right there. Notice that it's locking on to the guy next to him, and then then it passes by him and goes to the next guy behind him. So just really weird lock-on behavior. You're seeing that, right? Oh, I can lock onto the guy all the way back there, but not the guy that, at least he was closer. Now he backed up a bit, but not the guy that's closer than those two. How does that make any sense? Nothing. Oh, look at that. I can lock onto everyone but him for some odd reason. What was that? Where was that going? It didn't in any way, shape, or form go anywhere near hitting the target that I was locked onto. Is it random? Is that what it does now? It just randomly goes out? Just a random number generator and then it follows some random path? Wow. It very, very skillfully went right around the targeted enemy. Incredible. Incredible. Just blows my mind. Dark Souls 3, my friends. I'm Fox with Foxeo Plays. I will see you guys in the next episode. Whether you like or dislike the video, there are two options for that. There's a thumbs up and a thumbs down. Unfortunately, there's not a thumbs to the middle or side, or I don't know, anything else. You can leave your comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already if you want to. And there's links in the description for all of my other stuff that's out there, like my main channel, FoxeoGames. I'll see you guys next time.